Welcome to Underworld UK, where Britain's darkest stories are brought to light. From the gritty streets of gangland London, Liverpool, Manchester and Birmingham, from Curtis Warren to the Cray twins to county lines and modern day true crime, we cover everything. Bringing you new videos every week. Subscribe so that you'll be notified when the next video is put out.
Right, on to today's story. Today's story takes us to South Yorkshire, and it centres on one of the region's most prolific young burglars, a teenager whose crime spree, reckless driving, and eventual capture shocked communities and drew strong condemnation from the police. 19-year-old Kyle Allen has now been jailed for 3 years and 8 months after a dramatic high-speed chase finally brought this offending to an end. To understand how he got there, we need to look back. The police had been searching for Allen since late 2023 after a string of burglaries, attempted burglaries and thefts began to mount across Barnsley and the wider South Yorkshire area. Officers issued multiple appeals for information, renewing them week after week as Allen continued to evade capture. He is linked to crimes ranging from house break-ins, shoplifting attempts, car thefts, and even threats of violence. Detectives warned that he could be in the Womble and Dean areas, urging the public to report any sightings. Allen, however, managed to stay one step ahead. That was until the early hours of January 28th, when his luck finally ran out. At around 1:15 in the morning, a Roach proactive policing team officer noticed a Suzuki being driven erratically in Penistone. The car was believed to be on cloned plates, and when the officer signaled the driver to stop, the vehicle sped off. Behind the wheel was Kyle Allen. What followed was a pursuit that could have ended in tragedy. Allen pushed the car to speeds of 90 miles an hour, weaving through dark roads and even driving on the wrong side of carriages, and heading into oncoming traffic on the motorway. Officers described the situation as extremely dangerous. Pedestrians were out walking along some roads and other drivers were forced to take evasive action. Despite attempts to bring the chase under control with a stinger device, Allen kept going. His determination was to escape was clear, but so too was the risk he posed to police. The pursuit only came to an end when a pursuing officer made the decision to physically push Allen's car off the road to force it to stop. Body-worn camera footage captured the moment Allen was pulled from the vehicle. The arresting officer greeted him with the words, "Hello, Kyle. We've been looking for you." With Allen finally in custody, detectives from the Barnsley neighbourhood crime team began piecing together the wider picture of his offending. The charges soon stacked up to 2 counts of burglary, 6 counts of handling stolen goods, attempted burglary, attempted theft from a shop, threats to damage, theft of a motor vehicle, dangerous driving, failing to stop, driving without insurance, and driving without a license. To put this into context, burglary in the UK is not just a series of isolated crimes. Each incident leaves victims feeling violated in their own homes. According to the Office for National Statistics, tens of thousands of burglaries are reported every year, and the emotional impact can last far longer than the financial loss. Families and individuals often experience stress, anxiety, and a profound sense of insecurity after their homes are broken into. Kyle Allen's case also reflects the reality of prolific offenders. Young people who repeatedly commit crimes, often escalating in severity all the time. Police across the country have developed specialist strategies to target these offenders, combining surveillance, intelligence gathering, and community engagement. Road policing teams, like the one involved in Allen's capture, are trained to intervene in high-risk situations, intercepting dangerous drivers before they can cause further harm. During Allen's pursuit, officers demonstrated the calculated risk and skill required in such situations. High-speed chases carry enormous danger, and every decision, from deploying stingers to pushing a vehicle off-road, must balance stopping a criminal with protecting the public. It's a delicate, high-stakes process, and in this case, it ended with Allen in custody and no one hurt. At Sheffield Crown Court, prosecutors outlined Allen's pattern of criminality and his blatant disregard for the law. They stressed not only for the danger of his driving, but also the trauma inflicted on burglary victims. The loss of personal possessions is only part of the story. The deeper impact is a violation of safety and peace of mind. Victims often feel unsafe in their own homes long after the crime is over, and police are acutely aware of the ripple effect this kind of offending creates in communities. The police described Allen as a prolific offender with no regard for others, highlighting the reckless risks he took to evade capture. They also emphasized the importance of specialist units, demonstrating that proactive policing and coordinated investigations are key to protecting communities and preventing further offences. The judge sentenced Allen to 3 years and 8 months in prison. He was also banned from driving for nearly 4 years. For a 19-year-old, it's a stark punishment, but one many feel is deserved given the scale of and danger of his offending. Reflected on the case, police pointed out that the sentence resulted from both determined frontline work and meticulous investigative efforts. Communities across South Yorkshire can feel reassured knowing that this young prolific offender has been brought to justice. This case highlights two crucial points. First, the devastating impact of burglary on victims, the loss of property, the fear, and the lingering sense of vulnerability. Second, the recklessness of those who try to evade justice, putting countless lives at risk in the process. Kyle Allen may only be 19, but in the eyes of detectives, he had already become one of the most wanted burglars in South Yorkshire. His arrest ended in a long manhunt, and his sentence marks a pause in a criminal career that was spiraling out of control. Whether Allen learns from his time in prison remains to be seen, but for now, the police and the communities he targeted can take some comfort knowing that this young offender has finally been stopped. Thank you for watching. If you found this report interesting, please consider subscribing and give us a like. It really helps this channel, and I really appreciate your support so far. You guys have been really supportive and really fantastic. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.